Yeah, boy. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Off the Menu podcast. We have for you today a very special episode. But before we get to that, I'm your boy Moose. I'm with my brothers, my co-host Tay.
Hello, everyone.
And P.
What's good?
And special guest, very special guest, Dumb Boy Sticky, man of the people, entrepreneur, world traveler, DJ, producer, big stepper. Dumb Boy Sticky, everyone. Give your hands up, everyone. I knew you thought I was going to forget.
Thank you.
Wait for it.
Don't forget Go Getter and Going Crazy.
Go get her, big
crazy.
stepper going crazy.
Guys. Okay.
Big jumper.
Episode 78, yeah.
Episode 78. And not to forget, in the back, showrunner Sifu Ying.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
All right,
Thank you for coming, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Sticky.
This is really sick. I like all the attention you guys put into this. You can tell.
Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it.
Is that what it is?
We try a little
It was the number one thing when before starting the podcast was like I had to make sure all the technology was good, the room was good, everything was like perfect. So that, when we have people come here, this is still our home at the end of the day. But you walk in and you're like, oh wow, this doesn't feel like a room.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I think I like that vibe better because if it's a home, then you can kind of
It's more hospital.
Yeah.
you can let go a little bit.
yeah, it works out for me because I get to cook for people. Like, we had
That's
a
so
meal
good.
for you today. I always try to make meals for our guests as often as possible. So yeah. You can't do that really in an office space.
You can't.
Yeah, people are like surprised. Like, this where you shoot it? And
Oh,
then
God.
they come in the room
They're
like, oh,
Am I at the
shit.
right place?
That's
Damn.
so sick.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that has happened. But thank you guys for tuning in. Episode 78 Off the Menu podcast. Like we said, we have a special guest here today, Dumb Boy Sticky. Let's go and get to the episode here. Who are you and what do you do?
I would say like easiest description is DJ, producer, and founder of ETA 45.
Yep.
ETA 45 is my record label and event name.
Okay.
That started in like October of 2022. I had gone to like this show under the 306 exit where some friends just like got some speakers, had some punks play, and then it was like 10 people or something.
Really?
And I remember I was just like so moved by that. I was like, damn, you can just like go outside and play music for free and like people can hang out with that.
Yeah.
And it was like really started turning some gears in my mind. And so the next day I went on to KSL and I got like 2 speakers and an amp. I was like, I'm going to do that shit, but with like music that I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so same thing. We just went under there, brought all our shit out. It was like 10 or 15 people playing dance music. And it was everything, We were just out there in the world. There weren't any like, it was like for a moment, we didn't have any laws or limits. We could just like be ourselves completely and like experience the music together. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful.
No, that's amazing.
And
That
then
sounds like
we
a-
just did that a few times. And eventually one of them, like 50 people came through.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, oh shit, like people actually like this. And then that's when we started doing like ticketed events and then kind of just snowballed from there. You know what I mean?
How long have you been a DJ for?
So that's also the funny thing is that
Yeah.
I never actually wanted to DJ. I was just making music in my room for like,
Okay.
I've been making music for like 9 years.
Okay.
About 8 or 9 years now.
Okay.
And I didn't want to DJ at all because I was like, just didn't want to learn, didn't think that was something I would want to do or enjoy. I just wanted to make the music. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then as I was like, after I turned 21 and I was going to like dance music events and things, I was like waiting for someone to like play music like my music or something that
All right.
I was really, really all about. And I realized no one's going to do that. So I'll have to learn to DJ myself
Yeah.
so that I can play my music because no one's going to do it.
All right.
And then after I did that, I realized, oh, wow, again, no one's going to book me because no one's doing the events with music that I like. So I have to book myself. And so then that's when we started doing like the bridge shit.
Yeah.
And kind of just like I was saying a little bit before, I mean, like, or if people know, there's not a lot going on for hard dance music in Salt Lake City, aside from like people that are a part of ETA. You know what I mean? And once I realized that it just didn't exist, then I was just like, I got to do it. You know what I mean? I don't know how. I didn't know how to do anything, but it was just like, this is what I want to experience.
Yeah.
So I need to just make that happen.
And then sharing with other people.
Like making your own opportunities, right?
Yeah, making my own space, really.
And just you touched on a lot. Just to go back, like even in the beginning, was it always dance music?
No, I actually also used to hate dance music as well.
Damn.
I got into that from like metal and industrial and noise.
Oh, really?
And then it wasn't until a friend of mine was like, you have all of this like electronic gear. Let's make some dance music. Let's make some techno. And I was like, all right. And then we like started jamming. I was like, oh, this is sick. And he started showing me like electronic music and stuff. And I very slowly got into it. And I was really, really into like hard techno for a long time. Like a lot of the stuff that's on like Boiler Room and whatnot.
Yeah, I love that shit too.
And then after a while, I just like kind of got bored of it and revisited something called Gabber that I was shown by a friend in high school. And the first time I heard it, I was like, this is circus music. This is ridiculous. What the fuck? And then for some reason, after like going through all of that and then like revisiting it again, something hit where I was just like, whoa, I heard it in a completely different way.
Yeah.
It's like really fast. You have like these really heavy kicks. The song structure itself is like pretty simple, but you have like these like buzzing leads and like saws and things and like these really, really fast melodies that it just like has so much energy. And when I listened to it again after all of that context, I got it. And then I was like, I want to hear this loud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And whenever there's music that I really like, I just want to hear it loud.
Right.
And what is it called again? Sorry,
Gabber.
Gabber.
Yeah,
I was like, I almost said Gerber.
Baby
Gabber.
food.
No, yeah. I gotta remember that. That sounds
Yeah,
crazy.
It's like it's 90s hardcore. And it was like really big in the 90s.
Electronic music.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Because my biggest reference is like, sounds derogatory, but fucking, what is it, DDR?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I heard that's my biggest influence of techno, and then also like the older kids back when I was younger, they used to listen to a lot of techno. But it's very my knowledge is very surface level, so I'm like curious because you said fucking chainsaws and shit. That sounds fucking sick.
I mean, sometimes it sounds like chainsaws. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I mean, maybe it just sounds like circus music to some people because sometimes it is.
I mean, it inspired the look.
Yeah, maybe it did actually. I think the look, I usually do like a big star and then a tear. But if I'm like kind of on the daily or whatever, I just do like little tears. I've been doing this one more recently because even just doing like small star and tear takes a long time and it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
No, I am kind of envious. That's fucking sick.
No, it's cool as fuck.
Yeah, dude, I want to do that shit.
That's-
But fucking,
That's like that's you, bro. That's
I know.
That's sick. Yeah.
It's so hard because if I were to do it, man, they'd be like, bro, are you okay? Are you like, you're right? Because they know me and they're like, I know you like Joker, but shit. I was like, it's fucking fly, guys.
That would be the first thing I would
Yeah,
say.
I'd assume
Is like,
you
I would be
Joker.
like, we'd actually be okay with it. We're your
I know. Well, you guys accept me.
We're your
for, like,
coworkers.
I'm saying, I go out in the
friends.
world and
We're
be
your
like,
friends.
damn, Moose, you kind of,
Or coworkers.
kinda feel
It's more like your family's gonna
because
question
you guys get me, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
If I came up with like,
If your
freaking-
dad saw you, you'd be like,
it.
what
Yeah.
you got a black
Or your
I don't know.
brother?
My dad would probably be like, man, he's at it again. He's doing something crazy. My brother is very surprisingly like accepting of me now.
Oh, okay.
Well, at this point, yeah.
At this point in
yeah,
life,
at this point, when you call me the male version of Aquafina, he loves that shit. Like, he calls me that shit like still to this day.
What the Did you with the look in a sense like you said the tear and the star, was it inspired by anything? I just
Yeah.
think of Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. I don't know if you
I
ever-
actually,
Yeah, I was thinking
people
about that
said
too.
that to me the first time. I was
Yeah.
like, what is that? What did you just
Okay.
say?
Yeah.
He's a bad
Yeah.
motherfucker.
His
Yeah.
name's Hisoka. Yeah, he's a
And
clown.
yeah, it wasn't
from
until someone
anime.
they showed me like the thing. I was like, okay, yeah, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't. Actually, a lot of the things that I do is like, I take inspiration from things, but I don't necessarily do it directly. They kind of come about, like they come to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
like seek things out.
Yeah.
And I guess like the name, for example, was a thing. Before I ever went by Dumb Boy Sticky with my music, it was Oxygen, and I was making house music actually.
Oh, okay.
And the first time that I did one of those like bridge things, my friend was like, "Oh, do you want to play under this bridge?" And at the time, I was like trying to get booked at like clubs like the Block and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, Oxygen doesn't DJ under a bridge. I got to come up with something else for that one. And so he's like, what do you want on the flyer? And the first thing that came to my mind, the first words that came to my mind was just Dumb Boy Sticky. And so I was just like, just put that on there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Just ran with it, huh?
Yeah. And then after I like played it and then like
reborn.
went there, I was like, holy shit, this is like so fucking fun. This is like everything. I don't know what I was trying to do before because this is awesome. And so then I just stuck with that. And then when I made the account, I had to find like a profile picture. And I had this flyer from this like 80s Japanese pop punk band.
I've seen that.
It's called New Roteka, and the guy has like a blue star and a blue tear on his face and like a clown nose.
Shit's fire.
And that was just what I had on my camera roll because I thought it was sick.
Yeah.
And so I just put that as my profile picture. And then after like doing the raves and stuff, I was like getting rave clothes and things. I was like, I should like, just like look like my profile picture so people know who they're talking to. And so they're not just like, who the fuck is this guy? And then like it just made things easier in that way.
Yeah.
And so then for a long time, I was like experimenting with different ways of doing the makeup. At first, I was just doing like all black and stuff like that. And then it was just like hard because it would always like flake off in weird ways. And then the first time I went to LA, just before I went, I like somehow got some like white face paint or something. And I was like, all right, maybe this is going to be easier if I like draw the star, fill it in with a white, same with the tear, and then do the nose. And then I did that and I was like, whoa, this looks fucking sick.
Yeah.
And so then after that, I just, kept going that way. You know what I mean? So kind of just like a really long natural evolution of things. It was never something that I was like, I need to like do things. It was more just like forms of self-expression. You know what I
There we
mean?
go,
That-
yeah.
Whatever feels right.
yeah, just things that feel right that now like, are you familiar with wabi sabi at all?
Yeah, of course. It's like a Japanese saying where it's like the imperfections make the beauty. Right?
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
exactly.
Totally not verbatim, but yeah.
I mean, from what I understand, there's like so many different ways to describe it because it's so like,
Right.
it's so much bigger than that as well.
It's very broad. Like I
Yeah.
always think about like if you scribble, but then whatever you're scribbling becomes like
a-
beautiful, or
Yeah.
like jagged edges, like things that don't have to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
And even with things like that, like if you were to just scribble on something, like in that moment, that was something that went from your mind onto the page.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so all of the emotions and things that you had can be encapsulated in that because you weren't thinking, you were just doing. You know what I mean? And so like if I'm like with like the makeup and things, it was just like not like I need to do it this way. It was like I'm tired. I'm really hungover, but I still want to like, I'm still like going to this event. So I want to like get sticked up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'll just like do something similar. You know what I mean? And
Okay.
then just goes that way. Even when I buy clothes, it's like there's clothes I'll find that I like, but it might not feel like sticky per se. And so if I see something that feels sticky, then it's like, oh, immediately I know, like that's
Right.
going to work.
That's
You know
some
what I mean?
dope fucking trademark
Yeah.
that you got there, man. That shit's sticky. I'm like, yeah, it is, bro. No, that's tight because like it's even for the same thing with me. It's like we like things that have like the right tear, or when you've worn it in enough, when it has like that right look at that point, then it feels a little bit more personal to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel that all the way. That's why I wear like 3X shirts because sometimes it just feels right. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when things feel right, you have to follow that.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people get caught up and lose their intuition because they're thinking about what they're doing from the lens of somebody else. You know what I mean? Instead of just trusting themselves and going with that.
Man.
People think too much.
Bro.
Ooh, don't
I agree.
overthink it.
I
I struggle with that all the time.
yeah.
I like overthinking it, thinking about it too much.
Yeah.
And if you take a break and then you come back the next day and it's like, oh, it's 10 times easier.
Yeah.
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 Well, I got to ask, like, with just like with the beginning of like just making music, do you have idols? We've had a lot of guests where they're just like, nah. And you seem
I definitely do. But I think I have idols in the sense of like what they represent versus what they actually make.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think like one of the biggest influences I've had is Justin J, who does like, he has a lot of releases on like Dirty Bird and started out doing like that, more that style of like tech house and type of music. But he does so many genres actually that it's like actually ridiculous. But I like took a class from him when I was just starting ETA, and really the biggest takeaway from the class was just to like really follow your intuition, have fun with making the music. If it's not fun, stop.
Yeah.
You know, because then you're doing it wrong. And then people also take music and DJing and shit too seriously when it's really just like, you know, what are you doing up here? Actually, you're just playing music for people. Like you're not.
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
To you, yeah. It's funny. I was here. It was Laundry Day is a band I follow, and they said DJs are just people that romanticize the aux. And I look at that like, yeah, kind of in a sense.
A little bit.
Yeah, you romanticize. It's music that you enjoy. You want to see other people enjoy with you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
That's really what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
like this is. I want to play this shit because I like it, and hopefully you do.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. The hardest thing for me when I think about DJ is like, how's he doing it? Like technically, how does he know
right.
what buttons to put? Like
sure.
that?
EQ
I'm like,
and fucking faders
Like,
and
when
yeah.
Tay's doing, I'm like, okay, he's like loading each song in. I'm like, how do you know what songs go with what songs? Like, and make it flow, right? Like that's the part I freak out about.
It was a tough thing at first. It was like trying to figure out. Everyone's like, you need to match like BPMs. You need to do this. I'm like,
Shit
and then I was like, I ignored all that. I literally just threw it out the window because I'm not trying to become a professional DJ. It's not something I need to do. But I can play like a good wedding playlist. I can play something for your birthday, you know. But it's because people like the same music as me, you know. So I can play it for them, right? And that's what I'm pretty sure that's what you do, right? You built a community around your music, and that's why like you've been able to succeed so far,
amazing,
and doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's like the kind of the part where I think people think too much, where they're trying to please somebody, you know what I mean, and change what they're doing to, you know, let people in. But really all you have to do is do exactly what you want to do. And if you show that to people, then the people that want or need to be in your life
will follow.
They'll just come in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you don't have to spend any time worrying about anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Not that I don't worry about anything. I worry about shit all the time.
But that's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, like one huge thing that you don't have to worry about, which is like self-expression and being yourself, which I think everyone deserves to have a place
For sure.
to be able to do that. And that's really at the core of what ETA is about, is giving people like me and people that like that music a space to exist without feeling like they have to like do something to be there. That it's just enough that they're there.
Yeah.
You know?
That's nice. That is really nice.
Welcoming.
Yeah. Welcoming.
Yeah.
Like anybody can.
But that's how like rave scene is.
true.
Like it's just what it is. Like if you don't want to be there, like, okay, you don't have to be there. But like if you want to be there, like hey, come please. Like please come, have fun, like dance.
Two of my friends told me the first rave that they went to. It's the one over here in Saltaire. Yeah. I forget what it was. Das, yeah, probably
Maybe.
that. But they said they were standing in the middle of the crowd. They looked around at all the people that were there, and they're like, I felt world peace for at least like a second. At least like a second, I felt world peace. I'm like, man, you guys are crazy. But I totally get that, though, is when you're just fully around, fully accepting people, it just feels really good.
Yeah. And I really think, like with ETA raves, I think big raves, you can definitely get that feeling. And I've had that feeling at larger events. And I think with ETA, it's more personal because the music that we like is very niche. And a lot of times I forget that, you know what I mean? Because like this is my whole world. And so it's like everywhere I look, people know what I'm talking about. They like Gabber, for example. I can say Gabber and everyone's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what that is. And then it's like I interact with people that are not in that world, and then I forget like, oh, this is not like a common knowledge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I totally get that. That's how a lot
yeah.
of fashion heads are too.
Yeah, I mean, really, with any type of niche or any hobby
right.
or anything like that, it's hard to remember where it stands in like the world.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's also the beautiful thing, because it gives people an escape. You know, even if it's just for a night, where you know your jobs are now like so transactional. Yeah. Nobody's boss actually cares about them unless you work for like a small family business. It's like you show up, you get paid, and then you leave. When you go to the grocery store, it's transactional. You can't haggle with anybody or like have a relationship with the seller. They're just cashiers.
Yeah.
Like the entire world that we live in is so transactionally based and so impersonal that it's like no one really gives a shit about you in the world.
Yeah.
But when you go to like a rave or like an ETA rave or any like community place that you are accepted like that, aside from buying the ticket to get in, unless it's like a free party, you know,
Yeah.
which I have done in the past. It's when you're there, all of that melts away. You know what I mean? You can talk to anybody and you can build a relationship with anybody. And there's like people that have fallen in love at ETA raves. There's like families that have formed. There's people that may not be here that have messaged me and told me that, you know, what this community has impacted their life. You know what I mean? And just by having a space where they don't, you know, feel alone, it can literally save people's lives. Like the music is what brings them there, but that's not why they stay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
You built
really-
a community in a way that where people can now rely on each other. They meet each other there.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's deep because that's the beauty of any community too.
Yeah.
You made
Yeah.
me realize that just at this moment. I was like,
It's like
The whole time I was thinking about Tokyo Drift, the drifting scene. No, they're coming down the mountain.
exactly,
Yeah, that's exactly it.
it's like just one common thing that we all like.
Yeah.
And then a group of people come together. But that one thing allowed us to like learn about each other,
Exactly.
Yeah.
which is amazing.
and it's not
a
so
beautiful thing.
transactional.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
phrase of the day.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm blown. My bad. But what is the meaning behind E ETA?
So again, with things is like there's not a lot of thought put into it. It's just so I started ETA with my friend Human Part, who he's not a part of ETA anymore. Not for any like bad reason or anything. It's just kind of diverged, and we were like thinking, what do we call like this thing that we're doing under the bridge? And he was like, oh well, I have like this domain, and it's called estimated time of arrival 45 minutes.org.
That goes
And I was like,
.org.
yeah, I was like, sick. Well, we have a domain, so yeah, let's do that.
Did you run with it? Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just ran with it.
Yeah, I like the way you roll. Bro. You're just like, we got
No,
this.
but it's like-
It's just like,
you
I need
said,
something.
yeah.
This is available, and then let's just use
It's
that.
like it's like what he says, like in the moment, like it's just
comes
what I'm
to
feeling.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm feeling. It makes sense. It's
Yeah.
like it just
Yeah, there's a lot of simplicity behind it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
coming up with your name, like a lot of times people are trying to come up with names and stuff.
Yeah.
They just overthink it. And that's
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
it puts them in a rut and now they can't figure themselves out because nothing matches up. But then for you, it's just like, I'm gonna run with this for now, but then it's stuck with you. And now you're using it in a phrase where like that's not sticky enough or this is not right. So now you have something now to hold you to whatever this name is.
And I think a lot of that type of thing also is like ingrained in us, especially people that are even younger, where they've grown up in a world on the internet and things where the only thing they have ever known is like hyper capitalist relationships and transactional relationships where it's like, oh, I need to think of a name for something. What's going to make money? You know what I mean? And that's not what they're actually thinking, but that's like subconsciously where that
Yeah.
thought is rooted.
Yeah.
Like that name is not going to be catchy enough. But why is that not catchy enough?
yeah.
Is it because it's like doesn't roll off the tongue? It doesn't like
Yeah.
feel good saying it?
Yeah.
Or is it because you don't think that it's going to look good on a poster?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it because it's not going to look good on like you're not going to get booked with that or things like
Right.
that? You know what I mean? Which all inherently comes down from money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But ironically, I think things like money or success or even however you define success or just like the ability to make good art, it's not something that you do. It's just something that you allow, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to force something, like even making friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't like see somebody and be like, oh, I need to be friends with that person and like try to be their friend because then they're probably going to be like, who the fuck are you? But if you like let things happen, you know, not get so attached to the end result, it'll happen. You know what I mean?
Freaking law of attraction.
This man, he
In a way, yeah.
personified. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, like to put it in layman terms, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's just crazy. Like I swear you're going to do like a Kamehameha one day.
It's living in the moment to a T, bro. Honestly, and not worrying about what's going to happen, like having expectations of what's going to happen in the future
Yeah.
at all. Like it's like that doesn't matter because I'm here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of just like
yeah.
letting go, kind of, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Letting go.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
like, that's been a huge theme in my life right now, actually. Because I have this like, I'm not going to like
Damn, you
read
got the
my
Chanel
journal.
bag?
It's fake. It's fake. You see how it's flaking like this?
Hey,
I found it at a vintage shop that I was like, oh, that's sick.
they don't need to know. Who cares?
Oh, they know. Trust me, they know. But yeah, I have like this journal where I like
Damn.
write all my experiences in. Well, not all of them, but like important experiences.
Really?
And you can see it's like separated into these parts, right?
That
Wow.
book is cool as fuck.
Oh my
bro. What the fuck?
I feel like you
book-
open
he
an
has
ancient text.
He has a fucking
kind of
what
is.
are they called?
This is what Joseph Smith found.
He's got the Book of Enoch.
This will be for Rave Joseph Smith. I'll bury it in
Under the salt's
pile of
hair.
trash.
It's just like, what is
fucking, yeah, that's funny as fuck.
it resurrects
That's
him.
so sick.
What are those books called? The wizards use, man. Fuck. Magicians. Fucking.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
This.
Like scrolls?
No, not a scroll. Fucking.
manuscript.
Why can't I think of the damn word?
Or like, what is it from? Like, give me
Black Clover. It's the name of it. Yeah, but it's used universally. Like it's what mages use. Or
Spell-
wizards.
Oh,
It's a
It's not a
spell book.
Well,
the
that's,
grimoire.
there we go. Thank you. That's a
This
fucking
guy,
grimoire.
man. You're probably like, shit.
Thank God. He
Yeah,
got
that's
it.
good.
He got it. He
Good.
got it. Thanks.
I would actually call myself a wizard in a
See,
way.
and that's a grimoire right there, G.
I'm very.
He about to pull out
envious
his
like
spells
grimoire.
right now.
Oh my god, that's so sick. I'm not gonna ask where you got that because it's
No, that's
yeah.
fine.
I got
like-
this at Crow's Hollow or Crone's Hollow, which
Oh,
is like
okay.
a magic store.
Yeah.
And I don't believe like in magic in the way that I think people believe in it that way, where it's like you can say a spell and then something happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like magic is a very practical and real thing, but it's also innately human.
Yeah.
And I think that's another thing that people overthink, but also it's like different for everybody. Really, I think like magic is something you allow to happen.
Yeah.
It's not something that you force. Where things like this, for example, I was at a rave in LA called Munchies,
Show him the jewels.
and I was like cleaning up the trash, and it was such an emotional rave for me because it was like all my friends online, all my friends in the LA scene, everybody was like at this rave,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was like such an intimate rave where everybody was like there was so much love. It went into like 7 a.m. And then at that point, you know, it's time to clean up.
Yeah.
Right. And so as I was like picking up all these pieces of trash and like putting them in the garbage, it was like every piece of trash I was picking up got it closer and closer to its normal state, the venue when we found it. And that all of that magic, everything that happened in that time, you know, started to fade. And anybody that would walk in after the rave, you know, they just see the blank slate, but
Didn't know.
they don't realize what had just happened there.
You like
You
the
know
way
what I
you
mean?
say it just makes me
Yeah,
think
oh
it's like
God.
energy,
Yes.
but no, like it's something else.
It makes
like,
it make sense.
dude.
for
Yeah,
sure.
it makes it make sense for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And as I was cleaning, I found this. And
Well,
it-
no way, that's sick.
Yeah,
it's just
that's-
like, I don't know what, I think it was an earring or something,
Or
but
so maybe
you know, it was like, I was thinking of these things and then I saw it, you know what I mean? And I could have just like picked it up and thrown it away. Cause I mean, realistically, it's like, it's garbage.
to
but-
somebody else, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Or if I just had not chosen to attach that meaning to it, it would have been garbage. But after that,
Yeah.
after I had that meaning and saw it and gave it something, then it becomes a charm. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, totally.
And I can give that to somebody. You know, I give people charms all the time. I
It's like a rabbit's foot.
also have like a little charms bag that I just hold trinkets in, like in this guy. And if I see something that gives me an emotion like that, I pay attention, you know, just to my intuition. Maybe I don't know what it's for,
Right.
but there will come a time where somebody tells me something or I see something, and then I think, oh, I have something for you.
It's like the thing that makes it special is the intention that you give it with. right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And I think that's what magic is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't put a spell on it in the sense that I like sat down and like wrote stuff down or whatever. But I did put a spell on it in the sense that that's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I
It
mean?
makes a lot of sense too, because even just in our Buddhist culture, like the necklaces that we wear when it's given by
This right here.
someone special, yeah, even like those, like it's very much that kind of same thought, right?
Yeah.
Like we want to give it with intention. That's why we want to do it and bless each other. So the way that you say it makes it very much sense, just in a different way.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you get it.
Oh, for
Sometimes
sure.
people don't get it at all.
No,
They're
it makes
just like,
sense.
Yeah, I get it. And plus,
Oh yeah,
I like
We practice this.
it comes from our
yeah.
culture. So
Yeah.
I literally have a tattoo that says wizard on my arm.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I didn't want to call him out. We got the tattoos the same day.
That's so sick.
Because I collect a lot of things, and whenever it comes to, like things that I'm given like presents, I can never get rid of them. Like it's like, oh, this was given to me by so and so. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to kind of let those things go. And then even the things I kind of pick up along the way, I just keep it on me.
Yeah.
And there's just so much random stuff in like these boxes and things, but it's hard to let go.
And those things, they last forever,
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
And that's like the beauty of it. Or even if, like, I also get people lose things sometimes, you know? But I always try to tell people that if I'm giving them something like that, if it leaves their possession, that it at least goes into the hands of somebody else. You know what I mean?
Like they don't need it anymore.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, then it's like, I don't want you to just like hold on to it because I gave it to you. You know what I mean? I didn't give it to you because I want to give it to you. I gave it to you because I feel like you could use it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That
Whether
actually-
they turn it into something else, maybe turn it into jewelry or whatever.
That brings a crazy story because my sister's very spiritual. She always has been like since she was young. Even like the whole sixth sense thing, she's had like a little bit of that, right? It like runs in the family with different family members. But she lived in Colorado and she was having like a really hard time. She was just like in a tough spot. And then she's walking in a farmer's market or something like that. And then this guy makes these necklaces, jewelry, and different things like that. And he calls her over and he's like, hey, you have like a really bad chip on your shoulder. Like it almost feels like it's a manifestation, like a negative one that's surrounding you, that's following you. And then she's like, yeah, I actually am, which is crazy because this guy doesn't know her at all. And he said, I'm going to give you something and I'm going to give your two brothers something. And then she didn't say that she had two brothers, which was even crazier, right? And she's like, and he's like, you don't have to pay for it or anything. And this is a true story, bro. I swear. Well, she told me if she lied, she lied. But she told me this is crazy.
No, I hope you're not lying.
No, please.
It's on camera now.
It's great. It's a great story because she had like these this necklace that she gave me. It was jade, which I loved jade at the time. And then my brother had, of course, he had like the craziest thing. It was like this fist that was holding a rock that represented strength. Wow. And I was like, that's totally him. And then I was like, what's mine? It sounds like a gold little thing. She's like, he said it's guidance. I was like,
That's
fucking sweet, right? And then she was like, but when it like, he said, like if you lose it or something, be like, it's the same thing. Like you don't need it. Like it served its purpose. And then my brother's broke within the first couple weeks. Like it just like, he's like, it just snapped.
He's too strong.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
and
guess
then
he's too strong.
He's very strong. But and then mine, like I wore it like every day for at least 3 years. And then one day I put it down and I picked it up one day and it was freaking snapped in half.
No
and I
way.
showed my sister and she was all like, damn, we were all so weirded out by that whole thing. And then, I still have the piece of it somewhere at my parents' house. But
Yeah.
it
That's
kind
when
of
you
met
happened
me.
at that time that like you think maybe is why it snapped.
I mean, I think it was a lot of self-discovery at the time because it's hard to kind of go back because a lot of was happening where I was kind of figuring myself out. Because when I first got, I was a shithead. I just was doing nothing, no direction, no anything. But when we kind of started to kind of find our way, doing more about nothing, me just kind of being a better person and like an actual functioning person in society, I think that's when it happened because I think I was just turning it around slowly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
my
it
sister
represented guidance, right?
Yeah, my sister, she gives me a lot of credit too, because she's like, you're like my little brother, but you also act like my big brother all the time. So we're very close, all three of us. So it just made sense. And especially with what we do now, it's kind of like, as much as I feel like I'm just kind of going on the road with all the homies and like learning all these things myself, I look at all the people that we're like affecting at the same time too, and it does feel right, you know? So,
Wow.
yeah.
But you realize it broke because you got to a point where you didn't need it anymore.
Yeah. I feel like that was it. I was like, at least I'm on the right path some way.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, you're good now. So it made me feel.
At least it got, or
yeah.
you're at a point where now you can take the reins entirely.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as best as I can, right? So, but what we've been doing now is honestly just kind of, when I think about it, I'm talking about myself too much.
No,
This
go
is not
ahead. Go
about me.
ahead. No
But
one
it's
knows
like,
you.
just what we're doing, it just, it feels good. It feels like we're new people, we're new men, right? And then we just, it's grown into something that we didn't think it was gonna
Way
be.
bigger than we thought it'd be, actually.
Yeah, and then it's all of us working together. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to
That
talk
was
about myself anymore.
I was literally talking to P yesterday after the podcast, but it was like, dude, like the podcast is like giving us so much, so many outlets. You know, a lot of people have come into the community and like invited us to theirs. You know, and you know, it's been a blessing that we've been able to have opportunities and like meet everyone and like share their stories and also share our stories, because not too often have we ever spoken about ourselves, really. You know,
Yeah,
we just come on here and we just talk with everyone else, but then really like when people like see us in public now, they're just like, yo, I want to get to know you guys. Like, I really want to know more about you guys. I'm like, oh, really? Like,
it's crazy.
yeah. It's like, who are we? But then we realized that what we've done over the last year has been, you know, on paper it doesn't look like we did a lot, but in the last year when you look over everything, we did a
Man.
lot.
Yeah, for sure. Like individually, like we've taken in a lot and met a
Yeah.
lot of people and learned about a bunch of experiences.
Yeah.
And we
I
talk-
started to sharpen all my knives, you know, like for real, like,
Yeah.
like everything I've ever wanted to do, you know, I used to make everyone else do it for me. I was that type of
Oh, I
person.
know.
I'm like,
Just kidding.
I'm like, hey, I can do this, but you do it better. It's the complimenting thing, you know, like, I know you can do it better. Can you do it? And then,
Yeah.
but now it's like, I can do it better. So I'm going to keep
In
doing
my
whatever
own
I need
way.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we talk about community. We found community here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, people that really just mess with what everyone else is doing and just
Yeah.
kind of supporting each other,
This
which is
city,
so nice.
The city's loaded with a bunch of talented people and very
So
interesting
many.
people, people that do cool shit. Once again, like we haven't had a person that hosts raves on the show.
yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
true. Yeah,
Like,
first
you know,
one.
we've had DJs before, don't get me wrong, but we haven't had somebody that actually hosts raves and did all the dirty work and groundwork and from the ground up and do that shit themselves. Like, we haven't had that. So like this is a great experience for us and then as well as viewers that want to learn about getting into that scene. Because like I said, I'm brand new to raving. I've only been raving for about a year. In
Oh
reality.
wow.
Yeah. But I love this shit. It's so fun.
What's your favorite part?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I love to dance, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
At the end of the day,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just love to dance. And when the beautiful thing is like when I'm dancing and I'm having fun and it attracts other people to dance with you, that's the best thing. I'm
Oh,
just there
yeah.
by myself having
feel
fun.
that.
And they're like, wait, he's having fun. Let's dance together. And it's not even like
Yeah.
anything like sexual or whatever. It's just an intimate, like fun time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I totally feel that. Especially growing up a dancer too. We totally get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We grew up dancing.
Mhm. I just never been to a rave, but I heard how crazy they get. But at a certain point, I was just like, I don't get that crazy no more.
It doesn't have to be
it's not
crazy.
crazy,
have
though.
to.
Yeah, it
doesn't
doesn't have
have
to
to.
be crazy.
That's what I'm
Because you
thinking,
go
man.
and I mean the thing is like when I think of a rave, like
Yeah.
I think it gets thrown around a lot in different ways, and I mean you can really define it however you want. But to me, what a rave is really just like a third space. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Where not only is there music there, because there has to be music there
Yeah.
if it's going to be a rave,
Yeah.
but you can also find other community-centered things. Like at this weekend for Judgment Day, the actual like stages for the main room and the open decks combined are probably about as big as like the community area.
Mm.
And in the community area, there's going to be a bunch of vendors where people
Yep.
can like go outside, smoke, sit, take a break from the music because it's fucking loud, you know. And you don't.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people don't want to like dance the entire time. There are people that go and they will dance the entire time, and they're badass and it's sick
Yeah.
because everyone just goes for different things.
Yeah.
And so, like at a rave, ideally, you have a space for all of those people to go and exist. And there's some people that go and they don't even go in front of the speakers at all.
Bro, yeah, it's so awesome.
It's just like a different world.
It's just
Different,
cool. Like
like,
once again,
things, yeah.
I've been to music festivals. I've been to concerts. I've been a part of music my whole life. That's something I loved. But like raves, yeah, it's a different scene that it's almost the same thing, but it's not because it's a different crowd, different type of music, and it's just different people that enjoy like fucking just this shit. So
Yeah,
you know,
okay. No, I get it. We have all the homies that love it too. But Dom, what is your favorite part?
Ooh.
I think my favorite part is seeing my friends and
Yeah.
making new ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy like making very deep connections with people. And it's when I find those people that I remember why I'm doing it. And I actually had this experience at the under the K Bridge with Fortet, Fortet and friends.
Shots.
Because I went there with Nikki, who's like my a friend / partner, and when we were there, it was like we remembered all of our friends in like the ETA raves,
Yeah.
and we were having such a good time that it was like, for a moment, all we could think about was all of them. You know what I mean? But it was still like we could feel them there in a way, in spirit.
So tender.
You know, because then we're thinking of all the things that like they've shown us. Like there's one friend, 47, that always goes crazy, and he's always like he's one of the ones that dances like the entire time, and he's nuts. By the end of it, he's like dripping wet, and it's so badass. It's so sick. And like he dances in his own specific way.
Yeah.
And so we were doing like dances like him. And then I have a friend Andy, and they dance in a specific way. And we're just remembering like all the things that all of our friends shown us that have now become parts of us that we can like pull from. And in a way, like being isolated from that, but in like the same setting, then you realize what's missing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He's having
Bro, it's so nice to like, once again, he's really good. You're really good with your words, and it just makes sense, you know?
Oh,
And
good. I'm
everything's-
glad.
Yeah. Very
Thank you.
articulate, it just makes sense at the end of the day.
like that is the feeling that you have.
Absolutely.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's actually we'll go back to what you're doing this weekend. You said Judgment Day.
Yeah. Judgment Day 2.
Okay, Judgment Day 2.
Judgment Day
So
2.
Judgment Day 1 was actually the first ticketed event
Okay.
that ETA had.
Okay.
And again, it wasn't something I really thought about. I just needed a flyer. And I was like, this hasn't happened in a while. I need to get this flyer done now. So I just did that. And Judgment Day 2 happened. And then everything kind of lined up because then it was like, oh, now I have a theme. And so we have Swan Meat headlining, and she's from Cologne, Germany. And
Oh,
she
shit.
does like,
Damn.
yeah, she's crazy. And she does like, it has been described as like if you go onto, what's that site? Resident Advisor, as like medieval trance. Or like, she has like very unique influences.
Okay.
I love your
that I can
words that
hear
you
through it.
use. Like it's very descriptive, and I'm like, dang, okay, damn.
She calls it sludge trance.
Sludge.
Oh,
trance.
okay.
So there's a bunch of different ways, but always
course.
like kind of has like this kind of I don't know if you could how you would describe it, not like angelic, but like kind of a not even like Christian, but there's like a
It's
vibe in it that like goes along with Judgment Day,
like man, I'm like it's right on the tip of my tongue.
or maybe like angelic
It's
or
like a
godly or something like that.
Like holy,
God.
something like
Yeah,
that, you know?
all of those
Yeah,
things
yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Yeah. I like, that's how I would like
Yeah,
describe
yeah.
stuff like that. Like,
Very,
you
Yeah.
know, because like there's some like when you listen to music, there's like you get that feeling like there's like this bright
It's grand.
light.
Yeah.
You can see all this like
Is it
Yeah.
like Devil May Cry?
that's not holy.
So that-
It is pretty holy. It's pretty
holy, but it's not like that's not what I see.
I'm sorry. I'm
I'm
just
not
trying to
seeing that
relate it to
either,
my
yeah.
mind, man. I'm just trying to relate to my mind. It
So
sounds fucking sick.
tell the viewers where they should be at this weekend for us.
This weekend, you should dial 218 ETA Rave, and then that's going to tell you all the information that you need to know. But if you want to see the flyer, because it's pretty fun, ETA45.world on the internet or on Instagram. It's the same thing. The website is the Instagram handle,
Yeah.
and all the information's on there as well.
May 11th.
Damn.
Yeah. We're going to have lots of
Synergy.
vendors. There's going to be piercings being done.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's going to be a candy making station, so you can make some
Ooh.
candy, make some
Wow.
souvenirs. Open decks, lounge room,
Yeah.
BYOB, BYOC. Bring your own chair
Oh.
if you want to bring a beanbag, or if you want to bring a whole couch.
This sounds like just a cool ass party to
I
be
was
at.
like, yeah.
You can. I mean, really, the thing with ETA raves, again, people think too much. Like you can, as long as it's like legal,
Of course.
you can do whatever you want.
As long as it's legal, guys.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you
Damn.
want. Like people, I want people to come to
gonna be
these
there.
raves and
Beanbag?
bring things.
It's Saturday?
It's Saturday, yeah.
Okay, I'll be there.
But just like bring something that's a part of you. You know, share or like contribute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think with Salt Lake being so young as a city,
Yeah.
a lot of times people forget like they don't have to ask all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You can just do things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And people will be like, "Oh, how do I audition for the open decks? How do I do it?" I'm like, "It's open decks, dude. Just
up
jump
there.
on." It's like, how do I get on? You just ask. Just go. Or just do it. You know what I mean?
Wait in line.
Dude, I want to write a movie for you, man. Because everything you say is very like. I guess for me too, it's like a new experience, right? So it feels like the coming of age thing, and you're the guy that's like guiding the guy. It's like, come on, man, just do it, man, just do it. So that's a really cool event. It just sounds like everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully it has something there for everybody. Oh, there's also going to be a penance table, so if you've sinned, then you can
So
punish
you
yourself.
say-
And a confession
God.
booth. I forgot about that. There's a confession
Really?
booth.
Is there going to be a pastor in that bitch? Or a
Yeah.
priest? No way.
Well, the pastor may or may not be certified, but there will be someone in that booth.
But they will dress the part. They will dress
No,
the
you
part.
won't see them because it's a confession booth.
It's true. That's
You know,
true.
sometimes you just need to tell somebody. No, that it goes back to the theme.
Yeah,
What is it?
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
Yeah, Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And everybody on there, like Fear.com from Boston is going to be playing a lot of gabber and like hardcore shit, really fast music.
Yep.
Has been doing a bunch of like apocalypse and end times themed events. And I'm like, boom, Judgment Day. Street Fever from Boise does like industrial EBM, very sexy music. It's
Okay.
slower. It's
Industrial
amazing.
EBM.
Okay.
Just had a release called Absolution. Judgment Day.
You say you don't think this out, but it sounds pretty thought out.
Dude, it
It
sounds
just comes.
it sounds
it just
poetic
happens.
as hell.
The name came and then everyone started
It just
falling.
fucking lined
Yeah.
up. It just fucking lined up. Man.
The dominoes fell over and then everything just lined up. You know, that's what it was.
Yeah, things just line up when you let them.
yeah.
You know
And
what I
so,
mean?
are you spinning too then?
Yeah, I will be.
Okay.
So I'll be on second. Opening is Alex Cordova, who was on Open Decks at Hysteria because I walked in there.
Oh,
It was
Hysteria.
supposed to be the chill out room. Now I'm not calling it chill out room anymore because it's not chill. People just go in there and play bangers and it's awesome. It's not chill though. And I was like, what the hell? Who is that? And this DJ moved from, I think it was from Wyoming, and
shit.
just like super talented guy, super nice guy. And it's like, you're already here at the rave.
Yeah.
You're already obviously having an effect. So
Yeah.
now just like play the main stage.
So what music have you dived into yourself now? Since you said you did house, you did techno, you did you hardcore. Like where are you at now?
So mainly what I like produce and play
Yeah.
is a genre called jump style, which
Okay.
is like have you?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
yeah, it had a moment in like the early 2000s, but it's like a derivative of gabber but slower,
Okay.
like way slower. And then out of that came like hard style, and that one was like way bigger than
I
that.
love hardstyle.
Yeah, if you like hard style,
love
then you would
techno
like
hardstyle.
jump style. You'd
Okay,
probably
yeah.
like all of that. So Alex Cordova is going to be doing hard techno
Yeah.
to open. I'll be doing like jump style and some like French techno
Yeah.
and like shit that I do.
There's so many genres.
It's so hard
I was about to say the
describe.
subgenres.
There's just so many
are
subgenres of
crazy.
fucking
There are.
electronic music.
There could be like a Reddit just dedicated to.
Oh, there is.
of
There
electronic
probably
music.
is.
tons.
So like, not like this app is only for electronic music, and you just
Yeah.
dive right in. I guess that is subreddit though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the subreddits.
It's
After
wild.
that, then it's going to be so that I think at that point Swan Meat goes on
Yeah.
as headlining, and then Fear.com, and then Swan Meat, and then we go to Street Fever, kind of slow it down a little bit, get people into the groove because you can't do that shit. You can't do that all night. And then we end with Tay from Realms, who's in Boise, who's holding it down there, doing some really sick events, and also has like a really dope arcade with like a bunch of Japanese import
Ooh.
games.
No way.
Like it's
That
probably
sounds
one of the
fun.
best arcades I've been to.
I've never
love-
wanted to go to. I've never wanted to go to Idaho, but I might want to go now.
Boise's
dude, I
actually kind of
love
crazy.
arcades.
I heard Boise's actually kind of lit.
crazy.
I heard Boise's kind of a lit
Yeah,
city.
man. College
Really?
city
I heard,
too.
yeah, I
so
heard,
it's
Boise,
like
I
a-
heard Boise's kind of a lit
interesting.
city. I'm not gonna lie, they be
Yeah.
partying out there.
A lot of people that
Yeah.
like a lot of artists that
Yeah.
have like stopped by Utah have
They
like
go to
talked about
Boise.
like Boise's like
Yeah.
the spot
Yeah.
to be at.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
They're
you
wild
say-
out there.
You say the Japanese arcade games. I love arcade
Yeah,
games.
no, they like have a pulse on it because they're like know what games are at. I don't know because they're all nerds.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, this is like, I'm going to open an arcade. Like, let's put the games that I want to play in there. You know what I mean? And you feel that when you go
So
in.
sick.
That's so sick.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And actually, those guys are so funny too. Like, I wasn't sure what to expect when I played in Boise in January, but I show up and I was just kind of on the street. I wasn't sure where to go, and he was like, "Oh, are you here?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, we're pulling up in the limo. Just give me a few minutes." I was like, "Limo? What the fuck?" And so they pull up in like this white limo. They had like decked out with all this like caution tape and flyers and everything, and just
Oh,
like made it look all
man.
crazy. And then we just like went around the town like throwing out flyers and like blasting music for people. Shit was so fun. But they just
That
like
sounds
don't
sick.
like another kind of example of like people just doing whatever the fuck that they want.
Mm-hmm.
Like Realms in Boise, they're doing what they want to do.
Sounds lit.
I mean, they're pulling a straight Joker move, literally.
Yeah, straight up loud ass
Caution
music,
taped
fucking
up.
out there, throwing out fire.
I wanted to ask, where do you see the future of the dancing in Utah? Because we asked the question as earlier before we shot the pod, and you said you wanted to perform here 10 years from now, for somebody else though. So
Right.
where do you see this scene going into in the next 10 years then?
That's really hard to say, but I mean, I definitely, when ETA started, like the main goal of what I wanted ETA to be was not to like be the one doing things or like to be like a pinnacle of anything. I wanted to be like a foundation where people can come to connect and create. And that's why the record label is also an aspect of it, because there's now a place where people can release their weird dance music and have it go out places. And even if it's like not commercially successful, people outside Utah do see that.
Yep.
And they see, oh, something's happening in Salt Lake, even if they didn't listen to it or they don't know what it is. They just see that output. You know what I mean? And so to answer your question on like where I see the scene in the future, ideally, it would be that there's multiple people like ETA doing events with just as much like earnest as I am doing it. And we have like genres come out of Salt Lake, because you think of New York, you think of LA, you think of these cities that have, like Detroit.
Jersey,
they have
Detroit
sounds
house.
that are unique to the city because the city has its own unique identity. And it's things like this that if everybody is now coming together and like contributing to this, then that's when things start to happen. Genres come out.
That.
Salt Lake City is known for being
Yeah.
Salt Lake City because it just is the way it is.
Yeah.
And you can't
I
get
love
that anywhere
that.
else.
I wonder what
Yeah.
the genre would be called. That's fire.
I mean, like,
who knows what it would be called.
That's so fire though. That's such a like it's a crazy thought to have.
Yeah.
Like I'd never thought of that. But like you point out, like Jersey Club, like Detroit House, they have all the kind of sounds that are directed from their city.
Yeah.
We don't got one yet,
Yeah,
Yeah.
not yet.
which is so fire.
which I was thinking what you were thinking.
like,
Like,
it's like-
what is it going to be called?
But
Yeah,
which
crazy.
is crazy because Utah and like Salt Lake City is on the up and up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
with like the
growing.
everything's growing here.
Yeah.
When we're getting a hockey team, we're doing all this stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's
for the
crazy.
city already. But then whatever is coming from that, everything that's been in the city is now starting to like flourish.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that we've started to notice. It's like
Yeah.
I think my first rave was like 2010. That's the first time it was like Skrillex or something. Yeah, it was
Nice.
Skrillex. And then like I took a break from there. And then we started like 2015 with the EDC, 2016. And so we started doing all that stuff again. And then I think it was like right after COVID, I was like, okay, I'm just slow down and, and try to take my step back. But the city was already growing, the city was already there. But then COVID came and then everything paused. And now you can see everyone coming back out and like going strong at what they're doing.
Yeah, I was gonna say Black Void's been doing their thing for a minute.
Yeah.
Have you done a show for them at all, or have you ever?
I have not.
worked with them at all, or
But I know the people that do it.
Uh-huh.
I go to the shows.
Yeah.
I talk to them,
yeah,
and they're all sick.
yeah.
If they ever do something that's like along the lines of hardcore, I'd love to play with them. But
Yeah, they do a lot of D&B house. They do some techno.
Yeah.
I've been to a couple of shows, and it's fun. Yeah,
yeah, like I would play for anybody if it's like right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like just because I see somebody else's success be like, oh, put me on, because it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Of course.
it doesn't work like that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And even people that ask to like play for ETA, and sometimes people ask and like, how can I play a show? And it's like, I know you haven't actually been to an event, so like, how do you know that
Yeah.
you're gonna want to DJ here?
Yeah,
Because while things are not like necessarily thought out so much in advance,
right.
I do put a lot of thought into it. And so everyone that's on the lineup is there for a reason, and everybody's represented. But I don't just throw someone on to fill a time.
Of course,
You know what I mean?
There's intent, like you said, intention behind it.
Yeah. And so I invite people to come, but I'm not just going to book a DJ because they asked. You know what I mean? Like they have to be there for the community. Because if someone's DJing and they don't give a shit about the community, or not even if not that it's like that bad, or they just like aren't part of the community,
Yeah,
you feel that in the crowd when they're playing.
you're not gonna be recognized or like type. It's one
Just
of those
doesn't
things.
fit.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
They're going to
Yeah.
recognize that the pin in the haystack is actually
Yeah.
sticking out,
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it is.
yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Makes sense. I was gonna ask, if you were to introduce new listeners to your music, like what is one song that comes to the top of your head for you?
Well, I guess it'd have to be like my most popular because that's probably the most popular for a reason.
Yeah.
I think like my most popular right now organically is from my Baile Jump EP on UJF. So that's why I was just in New York. I was playing for the label UJF, United Jump Front. They do like jump style and hard style
Oh, that's sick.
exclusively. And I had a EP of like 6 tracks on there of edits where I'm mixing like these Baile tracks, speeding them up, and turning them into jump style tracks with hard kicks, percussion, and things like
I
that.
was listening to that before I was driving here.
The Baile?
Yeah, the whole tape, the 6 songs. I danced.
Oh,
now.
no way.
Yeah, I was listening before I came here.
Oh, the red one?
Yeah.
That was my first one. That's like the clubbier one.
Okay.
Actually, if you go onto my SoundCloud, there's like a playlist with all of my releases on there.
Okay.
And that one has that. But yeah, check out the Baile Jump EP. That one has been played out like probably more than anything else that I have released.
Really?
Okay.
Very, very fun like party music for sure.
I think Andy said that you have a song that's getting played like universally almost. And is that the song?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the last one on the EP. I actually got hit up. There I had a crazy experience where there's like this DJ called Opium Hum who does like a lot of the emceeing for Boiler Room events. And I remember seeing this guy from the 2018 Randomer Deckmantle set because he introduced him on. And that was the set that got me into producing electronic music entirely because I didn't even know what it was or like it before that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember looking into it and like seeing this MC and all these Boiler Room events. I'm like, who is this guy? I found out he's a DJ. And then like a couple weeks ago, he hit me up in my DMs and was just like, yo, I was playing your track in Italy and it went crazy.
Wow.
And so it was like,
Dang.
it
That's
was crazy.
fire.
It was so
awesome.
validating as well because it was like, this was a guy that was
awesome.
like part of why I'm doing what I'm doing,
Yeah.
That's amazing.
that it came full circle and he liked it enough that he wanted to just tell me that. You know what I mean? And so I was like, damn.
He played in Italy and people fucked with it. Once
I
again,
know.
that's across the fucking world, dude.
That made me want to
That's-
jump out the roof. I'd be so happy.
Yeah,
Like, I could do anything. No, that's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Have you been over to Europe and played?
I haven't, but that's something I want to do this year.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
there's some labels I want to try and get some stuff out on in Europe as well.
Okay.
And honestly, I think like a lot of this type of music, like hardcore, techno, and like the more repetitive type of beats, they are generally more popular in Europe.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are, for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And so I think it would be sick if I got a release out there and then they're like, hey, let's like bring you out and do a show. Like I wouldn't care where it is. It could be in a bar or somewhere, but if someone
Somewhere.
calls me out,
You get to
I'd
go
be
to
like, hell
Europe.
yeah.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
That's kind of the cool thing about like international fans. Like they can just really connect to your music because that happens to a lot of guys over here. And then also for like before K-pop was K-pop, like when it started to grab a lot of folks over in America, where like it was kind of cool to kind of see people like things they didn't even fully really understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome. Plus, just go to Italy and just party it up. Yeah.
That's so lit. I'm envious of that.
Me too.
But like in a good way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Yeah.
Who doesn't want that?
Yeah. So like when you started doing the music stuff, did you think that it would ever get to the point where you're at now with how like you? So Andy he had talked to me about you as well. He's like, yo, you need to have Dumbboy Sticky on.
Yep.
But he had already like reached out to you. And then Andy was just telling me, he's like, yeah, bro, he's killing it right now. Like he's doing all this dope stuff. And then like, did you ever see it get to that point where like people will start recognizing you and like playing your music everywhere?
No, definitely not. And it's also something that I struggled to accept, like when it first started happening, where I was just like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like that's not real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like relatively recently that I like fully accepted that and understood it. But then at the same time, like it allowed me to appreciate it for real. Because I mean, realistically, when you think about things like that, like people get so caught up in like plays, numbers, and followers and things like that. But if you have like a track with 150 plays, and you imagine 150 people that you might not even know in a room listening to that, like that would be a pretty packed room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's not insignificant.
Yeah.
And even like
that's a good way to think about it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Great way to put it.
And the world is also just so much smaller than people realize.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
And so you can't discount any amount of success, because if you do, then you'll never actually get to where you want to be. You know what I mean? Because everything's always going to be one step higher.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be greener on the other side. Everything's going to be like just out of reach.
Yeah.
But realistically, pretty much everything that you could ever need is always right in front of you. And you just have to like stop thinking so much about what you want or what you think you need, to give yourself the space to actually allow those things to come into your life.
Just
You know
like
what I mean?
gratitude for
Yeah.
things that you already have. I've been trying to friggin' practice that myself, dude. Like it definitely is because we have aspiration and goals and everything that we want to do, right? And there's even like to think about numbers is a natural thing whenever you're starting to do anything in this day and age. Small business,
yeah.
friggin' social media, all that is just like all numbers. And you do have to realize like we got so far within the year that we did this, and a lot of it has felt amazing. And I think that we should just have to go back to that instead of always thinking about the next thing. And one thing I do want to ask, and I know you already kind of said it, like running ETA takes a lot, but do you have any free time? And if you do, what do you like to do?
Well, I guess like I have been like trying to make more free time, and I've also like assembled an actual team, because it was way too much and it was getting to a point where I was just not able to do things the way that I wanted because it was physically too much work. And so I've like been delegating and giving other people jobs where they can actually contribute in very meaningful ways, which is even more rewarding, because now I can see people kind of take this thing and run with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can see how valued it can make people feel to be able to have this importance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And wait, what was your question again?
Just like, what do you like to do on your free time?
Oh God.
Yeah. If you like to relax.
Oh yeah. And so in delegating and things, like it's given me more free time and time to step back, because I've been burnt out.
Yeah.
And usually in times like that, I'll write in that journal.
Yeah.
I like to go to the drum circle. If you guys have been there,
Oh,
in Liberty
Pioneer
Park.
Oh, wow.
Is it
Yeah.
on Sundays?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really? You just go out there and hang out?
yeah. Pretty much touch grass. Like, literally.
No, dude, that's
Or
actually
make
kind of slept
music.
on, dude. Yeah.
I hear you.
No, that's
Yeah.
that's a slept on activity.
Yeah.
In this day and age.
It is.
Yeah. That's really cool, because even for me, like when you go to the park, I'm like, man, I should do this more often.
Yeah.
It's like, but you only do it like maybe
yeah.
once a week, if anything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Enjoy some sun and
Or
Having
shopping
it-
for clothes. I guess that's actually
Shopping for
something
clothes.
that I'll do. Yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
thrift a lot? Seems like you thrift.
Yeah, I usually go to like the secondhand thrift stores, which I guess some people think
what?
that's like
DI and Savers? Or?
no, like I think that'd be like kind of more first, like the
it's
ones where they're like picking the cool shit and then they sell
Is
those.
it like
Ah.
decades that we have?
Usually I'll go to a lot to like Iconoclad, because they have
Okay,
like so
yeah,
much
yeah, yeah.
rave stuff, and
Yeah.
then I'll
I've
go
never heard of that
to
place.
Hibbs. Iconoclad is pretty sick.
Yeah,
stop by
you
there,
find
yeah.
some gold there.
Really?
Yeah.
I used to
Where's
thrift
that at?
real hard.
I don't know, man. It's
Somewhere
on State
Salt
Street
Lake.
and
Okay,
like
that-
Somewhere Salt Lake.
Iconoclad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said Pibbs? Pibbs is
Pibbs.
where is that?
That one I don't know.
That one's is that by the
That's in Sugar House,
Belgian waffle
across from
place?
Yeah.
That's the one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I've been there before.
That one's
They
awesome.
got some
Sugar
shit.
House?
Yeah.
Okay, I have
It's
to
by
go.
it's by like this Belgian waffle place, which is also a fire place to eat food at.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go.
Have you been to Name Droppers?
Name Droppers.
Yeah,
No, what is that?
Name Droppers. It's like high end thrifting.
I just still need to go.
Oh,
So
Gotcha.
they have nice like Chanel and Louis, but they have like other shit like that too. That's,
I like my shit to look low end.
no, not to say. Don't get me wrong. It can look like, but it's just high end fashion. That's
Dude, it's
still
not sticky enough.
The wait,
Yeah, I like it to look like I got it out of the trash a little bit.
Dude, I like that. That's very unique though, because I like
Yeah.
what is it, like Toasted Thrift? Is it Toasted Thrift or like the other side Thrift? Whatever.
I don't know.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
something, but they have like the best slacks that you will find.
way.
Like dress pants, trousers. They have the best stuff. Like other things like here and there, furniture too is pretty sick. But like their pants, I'm like nobody touches you, and I can get it for like
Nice.
$6.
And those are honestly the best things. Like finding things that nobody wants and doing something with it.
Yes.
I've always loved doing that, especially with like music. Because a lot of like I produce music in Reaper, which is this DAW that like almost no one knows about, except for audio engineers and like really nerdy dudes that are recording music. Because it's like the Linux of DAWs, basically.
Okay, yeah.
And it's not meant for dance music
it's
at all.
very deep cut stuff.
Kind of. Well, in terms of dance music, yeah, because it's not like it sucks.
Yeah.
To be honest, like to make dance music in it.
Yeah, okay.
Because you have to do all this bullshit to like get it to a point where it's actually making loops. But then once you set it up like that, then you can do pretty much anything. And so I use that. I use like a lot of like toy synths, or like in some of the most recent tracks I made, I use like these Donkey Kong sound fonts. But then you just like put distortion and like effects and things on them. It's like you can start with something simple, start with something that no one would even look at.
Yeah.
But you can make something out of it if you really try. You know what I mean? And it's things like that that I think make my music sound the way it does, and is also like what attracts certain people to it. And is also why, like, there's people that make music that I like a lot, but I can't, like, I have a hard time finding people that are consistently making music that sounds like mine.
Yeah.
Because I have, like, certain emotions that go into it. And, like, listening to my own music, that's why I make it, is because I want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody that's similar in a sense at all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't. It's different. Like you said, when you said jump style, it makes sense though. I didn't know what that genre was, and then I was listening, like I said, on the way here. It makes sense. It has that kick and that bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just everything, even down to the fashion too. Like the fit that you have.
Thank you.
I've never seen anybody pull it off before. And then I was like, I noticed like halfway through the pod too, you have this giant chain. This giant chain. I was like,
with the silver and the gold.
yeah, I was like, damn, that's huge. So it's very impressive, very unique.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's plated also. It's not real. I don't make that much.
Who
money.
cares?
I don't make
Yeah, we
any money.
don't.
I work for a company that sold plated for $800.
Damn.
No way.
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
I was like, well, just don't touch any water.
LV?
LV, yeah.
Oh, God.
I don't like to out them like that, but it's like fashion.
It's not
jewelry is
outing. People
it.
know it.
I know it's
there.
sad, but some people don't.
Oh,
People are like, so
They
sad.
should.
yeah,
They should. Like, you should know.
They-
what
Well, let them know
should
then.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you,
Best
now,
place
guys,
to get plated jewelry if you really enjoy plated jewelry.
There's nothing wrong with plated jewelry. Too.
No,
Just
there's
don't
nothing
pay
wrong.
$800 for it.
There we go.
Yeah, exactly. That's
There we go.
But if you want to, go get it at LV.
there you go. That's how you clear it up.
You're just gonna get signed in a model and like play for fashion shows. Oh, that's gonna happen.
Have you done that before? Have you modeled or done fashion shows, anything like that at all?
No.
Oh,
You
okay.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if anybody wants to book me for their shit, then yeah.
think
I'll
you
show
should-
up like this.
Yeah.
You know what? They'll just like
I won't take my hat off.
Like I see exactly what you're going for. I recreated it just the way I think.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
With my clothes.
That's
would be
like
crazy.
that's what I
Yeah.
think you deserve though. It's like somebody that sees your vision and just wants to add to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that sees things the way I do, it's like, yeah, I really like cherish that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was even also at Fortet and Friends. I like saw these people walking around, and one of them like asked me to take a picture. But sometimes you see people, and then you're like, "What's going on there?" You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because one of them was just like wearing like this weird like zebra type of thing, but it wasn't a zebra, but it just like was zebra like black and white. And then one of them was wearing like this really strange red hat, but also like a red drape that went under the hat. I don't know, just like weird
Okay.
fits that I was like, you guys are like not doing normal shit. You know what I mean?
And I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah. And so then like just like connected with them that way, and then like all became awesome friends.
Yeah.
And I don't know, sometimes you see people where you feel like a connection, but a lot of times people are like scared to say that they
Oh.
even feel that, because that might be weird.
No.
But at the same time, it's just like the times that I've met friends or made friends by like pointing out things that I see that might seem weird, they're just like, yeah, I felt the same thing.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I tell P that all the time. The first time I met you, we got along like that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I totally get what you're feeling or what you're saying. So
Yeah. It's just like listening to yourself.
I've had a lot of those interactions as of lately with some people, which is great. And sometimes it's just what it is. Like I'll see you when I see you, but like I know that
Yeah.
we have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. Like it's always love. I first met you, we kicked it, It was cool. I'll see you later. I see him in a random event. Oh my God, you're here. This is amazing.
That's my sister. All the way. We're just walking around place. She's like, hey. They're like, hey, what's up? I'm like, what the heck? That guy works in the back of the restaurant. It's like, yeah, I come here a lot.
Oh my God, that's funny.
So we're coming towards the end of it. This is where we usually open up for shout outs or anything.
Questions, whatever.
Questions for us if you have any questions or anything you would like to put out there. And then also we have a segment here. It's called Chef Special. It's free game or advice to our viewers that you've taken in your life that you can provide to them. Or if you have like a crazy recipe that you do.
Yeah.
We got a couple
have some of
recipes
those
on
as
our
well.
list.
Yeah.
Major shout outs, Eliana's Universe.
Shout out El.
Eliana is like my best friend, and she has given me so much in my life to get to where I am today, encouraged me so much to be myself, and was there for me in a time that I was like so lost and confused. And she was never forceful with anything, but she just quietly created a space. It was like, here you go.
Yeah, she
So
just moved.
I would not be doing what I'm doing without Eliana. Eliana's amazing. Yeah, she just moved to Colombia.
Yep. She moved at the end of April.
Shout out to all the homies in New York, Helltech, United Jump Front. They put me on before anybody else. Replicator in Boston, always putting my shit on. Webmistress in LA, again, putting my shit on before anybody else.
Mr. Worldwide, bro. Damn.
All my friends in all the places, just like, going to raves, meeting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's amazing. Lots of love. Meal. Well, okay. So this is one thing that I make all the time because I have no money, but also no time. Rave ramen. So I'll get
do tell. That's
because
that's a good name.
after the rave, you're really fucking tired, but you're hungry, and you don't have anything in the fridge. You probably got eggs. You probably have some top ramen. I always keep my cabinet stocked.
At least
with the it's Nissin. Because I think Maruchan kind of sucks, honestly.
Tell him.
People did not agree with me, but
Hey, tell him.
the Nissin chicken ramen, you get 2 of those, you boil it, and just as it's boiled, it's kind of like hard, but it's like loose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Empty out most of the water except for like a few tablespoons. Put in your 2 eggs, whisk that up, and then you're gonna kind of have like a very thick noodle thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you put in your packets, and that's it. It's also the best hangover cure I've ever had in my entire life.
Interesting.
Not for the head, but for the
body
stuff and the gut stuff. If you do that, it's gone like instantly. I swear to God, I'm not even joking.
Just absorbs everything.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
nice.
Carbs.
I'll do
Also,
that
probably
next
like the
time.
worst thing you could ever eat.
And then eggs, your protein right there too.
Yeah, it's just protein and sodium.
Yeah.
A little
I
bit.
tell myself that with the eggs. They're like, at least I got that.
I mean, I grew up in that, so like I probably got
Yep.
at least like 20,000
We grew up drinking
grams of sodium in my body at this very
Mama.
moment.
Mama
Mama noodles. I
Yeah.
like what you said about Nissan noodles because I was like, that is true. They are fire. And what's the one? What's the duck one or the chicken one?
What do you mean?
The chicken one is
Oh,
super
where they have like
spicy.
the challenge. It's like,
Oh, Bollock?
yeah.
Bulldog?
That stuff. I
Oh,
like it
I like
every
I like
once-
the spicy ramen.
I like
Yeah,
it every
yeah,
once in a
yeah.
while, but it does. It doesn't do me justice later.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
damn.
So there we go, guys.
Rave ramen.
We got a Ray ramen. We got a recipe for you guys. Yeah, because we never would know what to expect. Some people are like, just do you or whatever. But then the recipes is just
So,
like,
yeah, we
I want to hear
hangover
what
rum.
people are
because
doing.
it's a chef special, so we don't care in reality. Like if you have free game and you've been spitting game the whole time.
Yeah.
Literally.
you have been.
He taught me what magic was today. And then it makes sense because the hangover food, what is it, rave ramen? The rave ramen, after you go to his event, that's what you have after. It's like
Exactly.
perfect. Yeah. You ain't got to go anywhere else.
Advice though, journal, start writing.
Yeah.
For real.
Okay. I
It
like
Change
did.
your
that.
life.
It did help me a lot when
Yeah, I don't
when
do
we started
that.
doing this. When we started doing the podcast and everything, I did write down a lot of the my goals and plans, what mistakes I made or what we can help build, what we can do for the podcast and stuff like that. So it did help a lot at the beginning, and then after that, it just became really natural. And
Nice.
Yeah.
we got on here and we was like, okay, now everything just flows like the way we want it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
78 episodes in, baby.
Yeah,
Damn.
78.
Damn.
If there's something we've been consistent at, it's this at least
It's
in life.
this the fucking podcast for sure.
We got to give ourselves flowers.
I love it
anyway.
though.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fun. I enjoy this shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank you for joining us here on
Thank
Off the
you,
Menu
Sticky.
Thank
Podcast.
you.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out everything in the description below. I'll link everything that Dumb Boy Sticky is involved in. And then make sure to check out Judgment Day 2 here May 11th. I'm going to create a reel for that. This party comes out Sunday. But there will be a reel to follow up with to get more information about that.
I'll smell y'all later.
Peace out, y'all. Episode 78, Off the Menu Podcast.
Play excellent, play beautiful, and play proper stupid.
Remember, if it ain't sticky, it ain't it.